Hey YouTube, Breakup Brad here, and in this video I'm going to help you figure out whether your ex is using you. You know, are they stringing you along, giving you hope of getting back together while secretly moving on? Are they using you for sex or for other favors? Are they taking advantage of your heartache and your weakness for their own benefit? Well, keep watching and you'll find out. Now, to begin with, you should know that sadly this is actually quite common after a breakup. In my 13 years or so as a breakup coach, I've worked with tens of thousands of people going through a breakup, and I see my clients and subscribers being used and manipulated by their exes on a daily basis. It's often, not anything too sinister or malicious, but sometimes it can be downright cruel. But perhaps the worst part about being used by your ex, at least if you're still hoping to get them back and start over with this person, is that it can quickly destroy your chances of ever getting back together. Now, I'll explain why shortly, but it's important that you know right off the bat that you can't let your ex take advantage of you or use you if you do want to have any chance of winning them back. You have to find the strength and confidence to stop being a victim and stop giving your ex what they want if they are trying to use you or manipulate you for their own gain. Now, sometimes, that might be extremely difficult, and it might feel like you're only making matters worse, but in the long run, allowing yourself to be played or used by your ex is always bad news. And even if you don't want your ex back, even if you're focused on getting over this person and moving on with life, don't let yourself be manipulated or let your ex string you along. Stand up for yourself, show integrity and self-worth, and show your ex that you're not willing to be their counselor or their butler. In fact, I don't even recommend, being friends with your ex or continuing to sleep with them unless you're really, truly, fully over them and you're happy to have that kind of a relationship. Now, if you are hoping for a second chance with your ex, please take 5 minutes right now and go to breakupbrad.com/quiz to find out your odds of getting them back. Now, this is a free quiz that I've spent years building, and it's the most accurate and simplest way to figure out your chances of ever winning them back. Again, that quiz is completely free. It just takes a few minutes. So go to breakupbrad.com/quiz and try it out for yourself. Now, with that out of the way, let's talk about how to tell if you're being used by your ex and what you should do about it. So here are some signs that your ex is using you or stringing you along. Now, sign number one, communication with your ex only happens on their terms. Now, I'm sure this one will be familiar to a lot of you. This is the kind of situation where your ex will call or text you when they want to talk or when they want a favor from you, but they won't respond or engage with you when you try to reach out or ask for something from them. Basically, any kind of situation where it feels like your ex only wants to engage when they decide to and really can't be bothered at any other time. So, for example, maybe you sometimes get a 2 a.m. booty call drunk text asking you to come over, but then when you reach out the next day and ask if your ex wants to grab a coffee, they don't respond at all, or they give you a cold and indifferent response a few hours later. In this case, clearly the 2 a.m. drunk text is just because they want sex, but the next day, when you want to hang out, they're simply not interested or can't be bothered to even reply. Now, this is obviously communication on your ex's terms, and it really isn't good for your chances of ever getting them back. In fact, this kind of situation is a clear indication that there's an imbalance of power in your relationship. Your ex has the power to engage with you anytime they want, but they don't need to reciprocate when you try to do the same. So really, in essence, they have all the power in this kind of scenario, and you have none, essentially. And this obviously is a very bad dynamic, not only for your chances of getting them back, but it's just also a bad thing, generally, in any relationship, romantic or otherwise. So that begs the question, how do you deal with this type of situation? Well, quite frankly, you really shouldn't let yourself fall into this trap in the first place. But if you are already guilty of playing along and letting your ex dictate when and how you communicate, then it's time to stop giving them what they want. So start ignoring those 2 a.m. booty call texts. Start waiting several hours before replying to your ex's texts or calls, and stop agreeing to whatever it is that they're asking for. Basically, just give them a taste of their own medicine and start shifting the balance of power back in your favor. Sign number two, they're hot and cold with you. So this is similar to what we just talked about, but only this time, it's more that your ex is sometimes very friendly and affectionate, but other times can't be bothered to respond, or they seem cold and indifferent. Now, this is super, super common, and it's a clear indication that your ex is stringing you along. So as an example, maybe your ex will tell you that they still think about you all the time, and they'll tell you that they wish you were there with them and that they miss you. And then 24 hours later, when you try to reach out, they don't respond or respond with something, distant and unaffectionate. And sometimes this can go on for weeks at a time, where, sometimes you get the sense that they might actually want you back, while at other times they just seem totally uninterested. What this means, at least in most cases, is that your ex is trying to keep you around as a backup plan while they test out the single life or casually date around and see if they can find someone new to replace you. Now, on one hand, this is a good sign. It means that your ex is still somewhat unsure about the breakup and that they probably do still have feelings for you. It means they're not ready to let you walk out of their life because they may still change their mind or decide that they've made a mistake in breaking up. But on the other hand, this is also a dangerous situation to let yourself fall into because it makes you look weak and needy, and it gives your ex all the time and freedom to date around or slowly learn to live without you. And in the long run, this can lead to your ex finally committing to a permanent breakup. At the very least, it makes the breakup far easier for them to endure, and it gives them time to slowly adjust to life without you around. Again, here, the situation to this is just to simply not play ball. If your ex tells you they miss you and wish you were there in a late night text, don't respond. Don't let them have what they want, at least not immediately or not every time that they ask for it. If you haven't already, you're probably going to need to engage in a period of no contact, starting immediately to put some pressure on your ex and force them to realize the full consequences of the breakup. And sign number 3, they usually want something from you when they reach out and contact you. Now this one's pretty self-explanatory, but if your ex seems to always want something from you when they reach out, if they want sex, help with their homework, a hand painting their new apartment, this is a clear sign that you're likely being used and taken advantage of. Now, don't get me wrong, if your ex contacts you regularly and only very occasionally asks you for a favor, then that might not be a situation where you are being used. But if they only seem to reach out when they need something for you and they never contact you, just to catch up or share a joke or something like that, then you probably are being taken advantage of. Now, this kind of thing usually happens when your ex knows that you're still heartbroken and that you are hoping to get back together. Because if your ex does know this, they also know that you'll jump at any chance to see them and won't likely say no when they ask you for a favor or a booty call. So you're going to be the first person they call anytime they need something. Now, personally, I find this kind of behavior pretty disgusting. It's selfish and it completely disregards your emotions. I mean, your ex is blatantly taking advantage of your heartache and your desire to get back together for their own benefit, and they likely know full well that they're doing it. So again, this is another situation where you need to stand up for yourself and put your foot down and stop being used. If your ex wants something from you and you agree, you really do look needy and desperate and, sometimes even downright pathetic. And of course, those are obviously highly unattractive traits that will only help to solidify your ex's decision to break up. So every time you cave in and agree to whatever they're asking for, you're showing them how fragile you are and how desperate you are for any chance to see them. I'm sure you've heard people say that confidence is the most attractive trait that people look for in the opposite sex, and to a large extent that is true. So show your ex that you're confident enough to say no to their requests or demands, and don't let yourself be played or strung along just for your ex's benefit. Because they need to understand without any doubt that you're not going to be used or taken advantage of for any reason, and that if they don't smarten up and quickly change their mind about breaking up, they're going to lose you for good. Now, I realize this is hard to stomach. Saying no when your ex messages you at 10 p.m. to ask if you want Netflix and chill, it might seem like you're throwing away a great chance to win them back, but please trust me, you must shift the balance of power back into your favor and stop giving your ex what they want every single time they ask. Really, if they don't understand the consequences of breaking up, if you don't show them that the breakup means that you're going to quickly move on and slip out of their life for good, then they're not going to miss you and they won't feel any kind of pressure to take you back. Now, a lot of people do struggle with this, and it's something that many of my coaching clients ask me for help with. So please, if you're worried you've fallen into your ex's trap and you don't know how to change the dynamic and rescue your chances of ever getting them back, consider signing up for my one-on-one coaching program today. Full details and a link to sign up are at breakupbrad.com/coaching. Sign number 4, your ex still engages with you regularly, but never initiates contact or shows much interest. Now, in this type of situation, maybe your ex seems friendly enough and will respond to your messages or calls and even give you a few flashes of hope now and then. They're not cold or disinterested, but they also don't seem to ever initiate contact themselves. Maybe it feels to you like they're happy to talk or hang out, but only if you're the one to send the first message or arrange a meetup. Now, obviously, this is a less serious and clear-cut sign than the first 3 we've already covered, but it is still something that's an indication that you're being used to some extent anyways, or at the very least, your ex isn't interested enough to put in any effort. So they may not be actively trying to string you along or take advantage of you, but they're also happy to let you continue to have hope and believe that there may still be a future for your relationship. And again, and I'm sure you're starting to see a pattern here, the key to escaping this kind of trap is to stop reaching out in the first place. So if your ex is never willing to initiate contact and you're always the one who has to put in the effort, then you really need to stop for at least a few weeks and just see what happens. Sometimes they'll suddenly be willing to initiate contact after just a few days of not hearing from you. And if that is the case for you, then it's a great sign for your chances of getting them back. On the other hand, if you cut off contact for a few weeks and they never reach out to you during that time, then things are looking a little more dire. Regardless of how your ex responds, engaging in no contact is the only way to change the dynamic and work towards getting them to want you back. If you don't hear anything from them during your period of no contact, then you can move on to re-engagement techniques, which I cover in depth in my X Factor program and also in some of my past YouTube videos, just to try and restart communication and get them interested in you again. Now, the 4 signs that I've just described are all strong indications that you're being manipulated or taken advantage of by your ex, at least to some extent. And as you might have noticed, all 4 have a similar solution. You need to change the dynamic between you and your ex by not playing ball or giving in to what they want. Now, this can be extremely difficult to do. It requires, serious willpower and confidence on your part, but I promise you that it's the only way that you're going to escape the situation and actually improve your odds of getting them back or getting over them. Now, if you decide to ignore the advice that I've given you in this video, that is fine. But please remember that I've been coaching people in your situation for over 13 years, and I've helped over 130,000 people get their ex back. So I've seen thousands of success stories and failures, and I know what doesn't work, which is to keep letting your ex dictate your relationship and keep giving them whatever they're asking for. And I also know what does work, which is to stay strong, show your own self-worth and self-confidence, and show them that you're not going to wait around and allow yourself to be taken advantage of. Again, to get my personal help on an ongoing basis and maximize your chances of getting a second chance with this ex, just visit breakupbrad.com/coaching and sign up for my one-on-one coaching service today. I promise you, it's way more affordable than you might think, and I really genuinely enjoy helping my clients succeed and find happiness again. So I'll be happy to hear from you and start learning about your specific situation. All right, that about does it. Thank you so much for watching this video all the way to the end. Best of luck out there, and don't forget to subscribe and leave a comment below if you found this video helpful. I sincerely appreciate your support, and I always read all of your comments. So thanks again for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video.